Hello fashion lovers, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we'll be making a play suit with African print, and I used 3 yards of African print for this. So you can also use this method to draft your jumpsuit, and this has pocket and a belt. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here, and I would like you to hit on the subscribe button below and subscribe. And if you're my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back. And to draft this, we are going to start drafting the knicker part, and to fold your fabric, you need to fold it with your biggest measurement. In my case is my thigh. So my thigh divided by 2 is bigger than my hip divided by 4. So to that, I add 3 inches extra. Thigh divided by 2 plus 3 inches extra. And for the crotch, I'm going to mark my crotch now, and the crotch is my hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch, because this is a jumpsuit, okay, plus 1 inch, and also ½ inch for joining of the upper bodies to the knicker. So I marked 11.5, and here is the length of the short, which is 22 inches plus 2 inches for folding allowance, making it 24 inches. So to start drafting this, at the waistline here, I'm going to come in by 1 inch, and from that 1 inch, I'm going to mark my waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, if you're using that, and 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. On this crotch line here, I'm going to mark my thigh divided by 2, which is 13. To that, I'm going to add 1.5 inch, okay? Thigh divided by 2 is 13, and then you add 1.5 to that. So I curve my crotch right now like this. Okay, so here I'm not using that. I don't like using that for the front because I use pocket for this. So, but if you like to use your dart, you will now mark your dart, okay? So I didn't like the curve I made earlier, and then I clean it, and I'm making another one right now. So next is to, you can just take this down straight if you want a wide leg, and here at the side you come in by 1 inch, okay? At the hem side, you come in by 1 inch. You connect from the 1 inch you marked inward like this to the crotch line. Okay, you can use your free hand if you don't have a hip curve. So I connected up to here. So I'm going to start connecting this one now like this. Remember, I also marked 1 inch inward at the hem. Okay, so this is what you will have after connecting. Okay, you go in by 1 inch at the hem. Okay, so at the hem you can mark your new divided by 4 plus ease allowance. So my new is 22 divided by 2, sorry, not divided by 4. I have 11, and then you add 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 12, okay, making it 12. Your new divided by 2 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So this is what we have after drafting. Very easy, right? And now I'm going to start cutting this out. Okay, so you start marking your new divided by 2 from that 1 inch you marked at the side seam. Okay, at the side, the 1 inch you marked at the side, that is where you're going to start drafting your new divide by 2. Okay, it's only the hip that will mark, that will divide by 4. Okay, but in this case I did not use my hip measurement, I just use my thigh measurement instead. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain to you here. If you want to use your dart, it's fine, you can add that, but in my case I did not use that for the front. I only added that to the back panel. This is because the front has pocket, so I don't like using that when my pant has pocket. So, but you can also use that, it's not wrong at all, just my preference. Okay, so now we are going to start drafting the back. The back is folded exactly like the front panel, but the difference is that I added extra 3 inches to the back. Okay, you add extra 3 inches to the back when folding. So you place your front panel like so. Make sure you have excess at the side here, like up to 3 inches extra or 2.5. So here I have 2.5. That is how much I want it. I want to add 2.5 there. Okay, so and make sure you have up to 1 inch upward like so. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this 2.5 to the waistline like this. As you can see, I marked my chalk there, and then I'll just mark from that 2.5. I'll mark my waist divide by 4 plus 2 inches, 1 inch for that and 1 inch for sewing allowance. And at that point I'll go up by 1 inch. Okay, from there I'll connect to this point like so. Okay, so this is my waistline for the back panel now. So at the crotch here, I'm going to add extra 1.5 inch to that. Okay, you add 1.5 inch to your crotch line, and then you connect from that crotch line to the waist here like this. Okay, so you just connect it to the waistline here like so, and then to the side here you're going to add 1 inch extra from that crotch side up to the hem. You add 1 inch to the back panel. Okay, so you connect like so, and then to the side here you're going to connect, extend this crotch line outward, because you need to connect that 2.5 inch like this towards the lower thigh. Okay, towards the lower thigh like this. From that 2.5 inch you connect towards the lower thigh like this. Okay, can you see what I marked? You connect from here towards the lower thigh, just pass the thigh with like 2 inches. Okay, just pass the thigh with like 2 inches, and then every other side remains the same. Okay, so now I'm cutting this out. As you can see, the other side remains the same as the front. Okay, just connect from the waist towards the lower thigh, and I said you should pass the thigh with like 2 inches to 1.5 inch. Okay, just connect towards the lower thigh. And now I'm cutting the crotch for the back and the side, and we are done. So now we are going to start drafting the upper bodies. As you can see, our back and front panel is ready. Okay, the back and front panel is ready, and now we are going to start with the upper bodies. We're going to start with the front panel. Okay, so here is the pieces I cut out, and first of all I'm going to mark my zipper allowance, which is 1 inch. Okay, I'm marking my zipper allowance of 1 inch. So I folded the front with my biggest measurement, which is my bust. Okay, my bust divide by 4 plus extra 2 inches. Okay, because I'll be taking out that of 1 inch, and then 1 inch for my sewing allowance, and then 1 inch for zipper. Okay, for the front I added extra 3 inches. Okay, unfold though, unfold your bust divide by 4, quarter of your biggest measurement plus 3 inches. So now I'm marking my neck width of 3.5, and my shoulder is 8 plus half inch for joining of the sleeve is 8.5, and then the neck depth I also used 3.5 for my neck depth. Okay, and for the shoulder slant I use 1.5 for my front shoulder slant, and I'm going to connect the shoulder slant to the neck width. Okay, so now I'm going to curve my neck line. So from this point, I'm going to mark my armhole first of all, which is 8.5. My armhole, I used 8.5. My bust line is 11. And then my waistline is 17. And I added ½ inch for joining of the blouse, the upper bodice to the knicker. So I marked 17.5. Okay, so now I'm going to mark the same thing I marked at the shoulder, starting from this zipper allowance. So make sure your measurement is starting from the zipper allowance, as you can see. So I marked 8.5 there also, just to get a straight line for my armhole. Okay, and then I'll connect my shoulder slant like so. Make sure you start your measurement from your zipper allowance, don't include it. Okay, so I'm going to use a clear chalk to do this, and then next I'm going to connect my neckline like so. Okay, so now I've connected my neckline, and then next I'm going to start taking my measurements. My bust divided by 4 is 10 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance, and the same thing on the bust line. My bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance, and here I added my waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and 1 inch for sewing allowance. You can use more sewing allowance of your choice. Okay, you can use 2 inches or 1.5. Okay, so I connect my points like this, and then the next I'm going to mark my armhole. I went up by 2.5, and from that point I went in by 0.75, and then I'll connect my armhole like this. So I like to use my curve. In case if you don't have curve, just use your free hand, but I like to use my curve since I already have it, you know. So guys, we are done with the frontal. Next we are going to mark the stylish neckline it has. So from here, from the neckline I came down by 3 inches. So from that point I'm going to curve as if you are making a sweetheart curve like this, but it's not actually a sweetheart. Can you see what I did? I hope you can see that. Okay, so just mark like ½ inch inward. Okay, just ½ inch inward, and then you connect as if you're making a sweetheart neck like this to the 3 inches extra I marked from the neckline down. Okay, so this is what you should have after doing that. Okay, so our neckline is formed, and I'm going to cut that out so that you see the shape. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, so I'm going to open the zipper allowance, and then I will still mark my dart. I forgot to do that, but I'll do it. Okay, so I'm cutting the shoulder slant and then the armhole, then the side, okay, and okay, I'm just saying I forgot to add the sewing allowance for joining of this to the lower part, which I just did. Okay, so you add ½ inch for your joining allowance. So here I want to mark my darts. From the zipper allowance I marked 4 inches inward at the waist and 4 inches inward at the bust point also, because my nipple to nipple is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So, and then you will now add ½ inch at the side and ½ inch at this other side. So I'm eyeballing it. Don't be a lazy teller like me. Make sure you take the measurements. I already know the size of an ½ inch. That's why I eyeballed it. Okay, so I'm going to notch my darts and also notch my zipper allowance. And we are done with the front. This is what we have. Okay. After you sew your dart, this is what you should have, the neckline. Okay, so now we are going to draft the back. So I marked exactly everything: my neck width 3.5, my neck depth of 1 inch, and I did my shoulder slant of 1 inch for the front. For the back, I did 1 inch shoulder slant. Okay, I marked my bust line, my waistline, and then the chest line also. So from the shoulder slant, I divided the shoulder slant and the chest line into two, and then I went in by 1/2 inch. This is to curve my armhole. And now I'm going to take my bust at the chest line, divide by 2 and 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. And here I also marked my bust, divide by 2, divide by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. At the waist, I marked my waist, divide by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance and 1 inch for that, making it 2 inches. Okay, so the back panel is on fold. Okay, the back panel is on fold because the zipper is at the front, so the back is on fold. And now I'm going to curve my armhole like this. Okay, so if you don't have a curve, you can just come in by 1 inch from that angle to curve your armhole. Okay, so now I'm cutting this out. Okay, so because I want the back to be flat, I'll go up by 1 inch at the center back like this, and then I'll connect towards the side like so. Okay, so just for my back to lay flat. Okay, I don't want it to have a balloon at the back. Okay guys, so now I'm going to mark my darts 4 inches. My nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 4, and then I marked the same thing at the bust line, and I'm going to connect that. So the back dart is 1 inch above the bust line, while the front dart is 1 inch below the bust line. And I also the same eyeballing. I'm eyeballing the dart also here. So guys, make sure you measure. And now I'm notching my darts points. Okay, don't be a lazy tailor, always measure. Okay, so now we are going to draft the sleeve. So I folded my sleeve with my armhole, which is 9 plus extra inches, and the length of the sleeve I'm working with is 9 also, plus 2 inches for folding allowance. So I'm marking 9 here, and to 9 points I marked 10, and then this is my cap height, which is 3.5, and from this point I'm going to curve towards my cap height like this. We know how to make a basic sleeve now, that's why I'm rushing it. I'm so sorry if you don't understand. Okay, so but I just folded my fabric, and here I'm marking my biceps divided by 2 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So at the top I marked my armhole divided by 2 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, and then I'm cutting this out now, and you curve just like a flat C up, flat C down, and our sleeve is ready. Very simple. Okay, so this is the pocket I'm using, is 14 by 14. Okay, this is the back panel. So for your darts, I forgot to do that. I mean, for the pockets, this is the front panel. For pockets, you mark 2 inches, 2.5 inch inward and 7 inches downward, and you connect like this. You can connect it straight, you can connect it with a curve. Okay, 2 inches inward and 2 inches inward and 7 inches downward. So I'm cutting it now, and when cutting, I leave 1/2 inch for sewing allowance. As you can see, I left 1/2 inch for sewing allowance. I did not cut exactly where I marked. Okay, I did not cut exactly where I marked. So here is the pocket. As I said, is 14 by 14. You put it inside like this, and then you just carve out the same shape of the pocket. Okay, so for the back panel dart, you just fold this in half and notch. Is as simple as that. And notch. Okay, and the dart is ready, and just the dart length should be 5 inches long. Okay, so you sew your darts 5 inches long. I'm marking the same 5 inches at the other side. Okay, that's all. And the dart width is 1 inch, half inch, half inch. Okay, so here we are going to start sewing the pants. So I'm going to get the pocket again, and I will show you how I would curve the inside, the pocket, to be the same as the pants. Like I said earlier, is 14 by 14. 14 inches width, 14 inches long for the pocket, and it's 2 pieces here. So I'm going to put it inside, below the, under the front panel like so, and then I'll curve out the pocket shape. Okay, just trace out the pocket shape like this. Okay, and the pocket is ready. So now I'm going to bring this out, and I'll show us how to sew this. So you pick one of the pockets and place it right side facing the right side of the pants like this, and then you sew with the 1/2 inch seam allowance. You do the same thing to this other side also, right side facing the right side. Okay, right side facing the right side. I'm trying to get the right side of this fabric because they look alike. Okay, right side facing the right side, and then you sew also. Okay, and then you go ahead and sew the back dart also. And here is the front panel for the upper bodies. I've cut the facing. I want to use facing for this. Okay, so what I did was to just place a fabric inside. Make sure it's 5 inches longer than the main bodice. Okay, the pieces should be longer than the main bodice neckline, and then you just trace out the neckline shape and also the zip allowance like so, just as what I'm showing you. Okay, and this is what you have, as you can see. Okay, so I just trace out the neckline and also the zipper allowance, like 5 inch from the zipper allowance down, as you can see the shape. Okay, I'm showing you what I did. I thought I had the clip, but I did not know. I wasn't videoing when I was cutting that out. So this is how it's going to be. You sew the neckline and you stop at the zipper allowance area. Okay, so and just place it right side facing the right side of your bodice, and then you sew from the neckline down. Stop at the zipper allowance area. Don't sew through the zipper allowance. And for the back panel, I also did the same. I cut out the facing for the back panel. Okay, so you just fold the pieces into like this because the back is on fold. Okay, you place the back panel and trace out the neckline and the shoulder side, and then you come down by 5 to 6 inches. Like what I have here is 5.5 inch, and then you curve. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to sew this. You just place this right side facing the right side of the bodice like so, and you sew the neckline. Okay, so here I've done sewing my back dart, and I also join the crotch with 1/2 inch. This is the back panel of the pants. Okay, and here is the upper bodice, which is the back panel also. And so I sewed and I flip over and top stitch on the facing, so that when you turn it, it will lay flat like this. You top stitch on your facing, and then you iron this out. Okay, so this is the back panel. I'm going to join them together now at the waistline. You place them right side facing the right side of each other, and you sew with 1/2 inch. Okay, don't worry if the dart is not matching. Just make sure the 2 dart is in the middle or outside the dart. Okay, make sure the 2 dart is the upper body's 2 dart is in the middle or outside the pants dart. Okay, and then you sew the waistline with 1/2 inch. Okay, so now for the front panel, I've sewn the pocket as I showed you guys. You sew this way, okay, and you flip over to the wrong side like so. And then you iron, okay, you iron this out. So this is what you should have. So you can top stitch on this if you like. I don't want to do that for this, but if you want to top stitch, you can top stitch on this. Okay, so all you need to do is to just, after holding, you just top stitch like so, or you just tack the upper part and also the lower part. Okay, so you fold in like this. Make sure you have up to 2.5 inch that you cut out. Measure it to be sure. So what I have here is 3, so I'm going to shift it inside upwards small, and here I have my 2.5 inches which I cut out from the pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to go and tack this point that I am pinning together. You just tack here and also tack the down part. You tack the down part also. Okay, so after that, this is what it should look like. This is the one I've already sewn. Okay, you tack here and tack the down part. Okay, so and your pocket should be ready. And then the inside, you just sew it. Just place your like this and sew, shape it like pocket shape. Okay, so this is how I'm going to join the inside pocket. Okay, and that will be all for the pocket. And so I've also done the neckline of the upper body, so I'll just go and join it together with the down part. So guys, I'm so sorry I lost this clip. I joined them to the down part and then I fix the zipper for the front. Okay, I joined the upper bodies to the short knicker part and then I sewed the zipper. As you can see, I joined the zipper, and just the zipper should be long enough. Just leave like 5 to 6 inches downward. Okay, just sew your crotch 5 to 4 inches downward, and then you stop and then you join your zipper. Okay, so that you can be able to wear it. Make sure your zipper is long enough. Okay, I did not say you should use the whole zipper. If you use the whole zipper, which means it's entering below and under your crotch, so just sew from the down part of the crotch upward like 5 inches or 6 inches before you start joining your zipper. So now I'm going to close the zipper side like this from the neckline where I said you should stop and sew your zipper. You close the zipper, okay, like this one. Now you sew this way and then you sew downward just to have a neat finish. Leave a little allowance for serging, okay, so that you can weave your facing, or if you don't want to weave your facing, you can sew it. Okay, so now I'm cutting out the excess zipper after closing the zipper. Okay, now you sew the complete neckline. I hope my explanation is clear enough. So you just notch the necklines and then you turn. Okay, but if you don't want to use this method, if you're confused about this method, just turn your neckline and your zipper side with the facing. Okay, just turn your neckline and the zipper side with the facing so that when you sew your zipper, it will be neat. Okay, so I've turned mine and I am notching it because I wanted it to be neat on the inside and the outside also. That is why I turned it like so. So next I am going to join this to the back bodies. Okay, as you can see, the inside part is neat. Okay, and the outside part is also neat. So you just go and give this a very good press, and then you join the back body, is it, yeah, the back panel and the front panel together. So first of all, I'm going to join them at the armhole. Okay, I'm going to join it at the armhole. Just put your armhole, use one to sew it. Okay, just use either the facing or the back facing or the front facing to just turn the shoulder line so that it will be neat inside and outside. Okay, just sew it this way. Okay, or you can just close it normal and then go and serge it and do weaving, and then you join your side seam. You join the side seam, and with the sewing allowance you added 1/2 inch. Okay, join your side seam with 1/2 inch, and then you join the other side also, and then you fold the sleeve. You fold the hemline of the sleeve and shape it to your measurement. Notch the middle of it and attach it to the shoulder, and you sew your sleeve. So guys, here I'm done joining my shoulder. I'm showing you how I did that, and then when you flip it over, you're going to have a neat finish on the inside and the outside, so there'll be no need for serging. Okay, there'll be no need for weaving the shoulder. So that is what I used, and I have fixed my sleeve. And after joining the side of the pants, so this is the sleeve, is not closed yet. I'm just trying to show you guys, so I'll just go and close it up. Okay, just go and shape it up. I did not shape it before attaching, that is why I left that to show you guys. Okay, so you leave like 1 inch on your armhole after sewing so that it can join your sleeve. Okay, so for the sleeve, I folded the down part, and I'll fold in half like this, and I will notch the middle of it. So that middle where I notched, I'm going to attach it to the shoulder line. Okay, you place it on the shoulder line. You place it on the shoulder line, and then you start sewing. Make sure that notch part is touching the shoulder line, and then you join. I believe we know how to sew our sleeve. Okay, so I'm just trying to explain. Okay, so you shape your sleeve, and that's all. Use 1/2 inch, and to the hem, the down part of the pants, I have folded the down part, as you can see. So you fold the down part before you sew the inseam, before you shape the inside of the knicker. Okay, so now I'm going to merge the crotch together like so, like this, and then you start sewing from this crotch up to the hem here, and also sew from here, from the crotch down to this second hem, second leg. Okay, down to this point. Okay, and you go and iron your playsuit, and our playsuit is ready. Okay, so if you want to have a belt loop, or what would I call it, what is it called, Seth? That belt and loop, now that thing that they fix belt that you can pass your belt in between. So you just get the pieces and fold like this, just make a loop, and then you are going to sew it 1 inch above the waistline and 1 inch below the waistline, and then you sew this way. You fold this other one inside and sew. So that is where your belt casing is going to pass. Okay, so I don't want to use that. I'm just trying to show you guys. Just open your zipper up so that you can sew it on your machine. Open your zipper up, And I think I'm going to zoom this so that you guys will see what I'm talking about, so that you understand what I'm talking about. Who dropped that money? Oh. So I'm trying to pin this down so that you guys will see. Somebody came and dropped money on my table. It's well, it's not even big money, it's on ordinary 100 naira. Okay, now, so I'm cutting out the excess. I feel it's too long, so I just cut out just to show you guys how to fix it. Okay, just that belt. Hey, what is it called again? Forgotten the name. Let me zoom this thing so that you guys will see what I am doing. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, you sew it this way, you fold this other one like this and sew again inside. Okay, just 1 inch above your waistline and 1 inch below the waistline. Okay, and that's all. Okay, and that is all for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, I beg. Support me by liking, like and share the video, and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in my next tutorial. If you have any question or suggestion, video suggestion, you can leave it on the comment below, and I will see you next time. Bye.